Tammy Beilstein. Welcome to Tammy's Window on Calaveras. I am so happy to have this guest with me here tonight. This is Sergeant Greg Stark from the Calaveras County Sheriff's Office. Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
We have had a couple little side meetings over the last couple of months because he's got some great ideas for fundraising and things like that for other agencies, including our hospice of Amador and Calaveras. And I was like, are you coming on the local television show? People need to know what you guys are doing. So he agreed to come on and talk to us about some of the programs they have that you may or may not have heard about. So thank you again. Where do you want to start? Tell me how long you've been with the Sheriff's Department.
I've been with the Sheriff's Department about 26 years.
Okay.
My primary duty right now is the Public Information Officer as the Administration Sergeant.
Awesome. I see your name on every press release that comes out and every social media thing that goes on. You're all over the place.
My name might be on it, but that's a collective work for all the men and women at the Sheriff's Office. I just reach out to what they're doing and put it out to the public.
Oh, you don't write all of those
write
yourselves?
I write it, but they do the cases. They do the
Okay,
investigations.
okay.
They do all the legwork.
Give you the information.
They give me the information,
You
and
write it up.
I just write down what they do.
All right. That's interesting. Did you go to school for that part, or is that something that you guys all take turns doing at the department?
The Public Information Officer specifically goes with the duty of Administration Sergeant, and I
Okay.
went to some schools for media relations.
Nice. That must have been fun.
It was a different law enforcement class that I hadn't taken before.
Sure. Yeah.
And it helps you learn what the media is looking for, reporters, journalists, how to interact with them, to get a mutual understanding, to get a good final product.
Right. Well, I respect what you guys do, all of you in the department, but when I've seen you on things, you guys are always just so calm and cool, and I could never do that. I'd be like, what? So I totally respect that. Later, do you fall apart, or do you get all animated, or are you guys just like that?
We try to maintain our calm in the chaos. You know, it's not good to have everybody in a state of excitement. Somebody's
Right.
got to maintain some calm and steer the ship, if you will.
Right.
But afterwards, we do provide our deputies with either peer support
Or debriefing,
official counseling, just to help them get through and de-stress. Law enforcement stress is it's a real thing, and if
Yes.
it's not dealt with correctly and managed appropriately, it could lead to manifest as some unsavory
Yes.
traits. So
Yes.
that's something we pride ourselves at our department. We have a good peer support program. We work very well with our human resource department,
Okay.
and we offer a lot of programs to our deputies.
Do you guys do you collaborate with with the Calaveras mental health people, or is it all inter-office?
The peer support is in our office.
Okay.
We do collaborate with our behavioral health, but that's more for reaching out to people on the street. The deputy
Okay.
support system is through the HR department,
Okay.
or a vendor,
Okay.
a professional.
Yeah. That's also interesting. You guys need that more than anyone.
It makes a big difference. After a 30-year career,
Yeah.
we can carry some baggage. Most people throughout their lives will have a few traumatic or suffer loss of loved ones. Deputies sometimes they'll do that multiple times a week. Death
Yeah.
notifications, dealing with stressful situations. It's said that some deputies will have up to 800 stressful situations throughout their career, and that, if not dealt with, could be bad.
Mentally and physically.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys take care of each other, and you probably speak up if you notice that someone is seeming a little stressed or not quite themselves. Then you guys, I'm guessing, go up to them, and they don't have to be the one to say, I need help. You guys ask them, are you doing all right?
Right.
Can we help you?
Right. We're a small enough department where we know each other. We spend a lot of time with each other, sometimes more than our own families. So we know when somebody's having a bad day or they're acting out of character.
Yeah.
And sometimes just a little, hey, I'll take this one, or get some rest, or once you get a cup of coffee, and just that time to de-stress and
Right.
kind of unpack your suitcase of some of the stuff you're carrying.
Yeah.
And just knowing that your partner's there, and we care for each other a great deal. So it's I like to say it's a big family. We squabble and fight, but when the chips are down, we really step up for each other.
For sure. And I can tell you, as a family member of law enforcement personnel, it means so much to us knowing that you guys have the back of our loved one, because we're all trusting you guys to take care of each other, and it's just nice to know that you are. I appreciate that.
And it's not just our department. We have, we work very well with the Angels Police Department,
Yeah.
the California Highway Patrol. There's some prevention fire officers, their law enforcement division. We come together. If you got a badge and a patch and you need help,
Yeah.
we're there for each other.
Yeah, that's amazing. I would say I would imagine that's one of the bonuses of working in a small community like ours, or a smaller sheriff's department or a police department, is that you do know each other and the families all get together. You guys know each other, look out for each other. It seems like, I guess in bigger places, I'm thinking New York, Stockton, wherever, those gigantic departments where I think the feel would be different. I could be totally wrong. I mean, I'm sure they look out for each other too, but I would think that's a bonus of working in a smaller department.
I would imagine the larger agencies have, they have precincts and shifts and squads. So on some level, there's that degree of we're a family, we're a tight-knit unit. But I would imagine it's kind of weird if you would walk through a hallway, let's say a New York Police Department, and there's somebody that's been there for 26 years and you've been there for 26 years and you've never met.
Right.
And that kind of boggles my mind about how big that is.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I'm extremely thankful that I started and hopefully will end here.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have, if there's any young person out there thinking about going into this line of work and you want them to stay local, apply local, do you have any tips for them? Or can they come and get tours? Oh, probably not with COVID, huh?
Not with COVID, but we do have a very active Explorer program.
Okay.
So young persons that are interested in law enforcement, the Explorer program is part of the Boy Scouts, and it's the gateway to law enforcement, exposes them to what really happens, the report writing, every aspect of it. We also have, when somebody graduates high school, we have an internship program, and it's built for the gap between graduating high school and going to college. So while they're in college, they can work 30 hours at the office and get exposed to all the different areas. And they can help dispatch, they can help the front counter records, and then once they are old enough, we can send them to the academy and we'll sponsor them, meaning we'll pay for the academy, pay for their bullets, pay for everything. And then when they come out, they're guaranteed a job with us.
Okay.
So we like to get our hooks in early, let people know what a great place this is. And that's generally how we get the homegrown or local recruits, if you will.
Right.
They already know how great Calaveras is, and it's a way to get them a steady job and employment and a career that they can really make a difference.
I think that's amazing. I didn't know the cadets that you were talking about, that's through a Boy Scout program. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, the Explorer programs.
Explorers,
Yeah, they're the Boy Scouts, the umbrella that the Explorers fall under.
Okay, but girls can
absolutely
do the same thing. Okay.
It's a Calaveras County Sheriff's Office Explorer program.
Okay.
And both are welcome.
Okay. Do you guys have any fundraisers coming up? You've had some fun fundraisers in the past for programs like that.
Yeah, the Explorers, they typically do a fundraiser with a patch. They'll do a commemorative patch for breast cancer, veterans awareness, animal rights awareness. They typically do those. They'll put them out on Facebook. And I was talking to the Explorer advisor the other day, and I think he's working on another, as a dual patch. I don't remember exactly what it was, but there's one coming out soon.
Very cool. Well, make sure that they come on here and talk about those things so we can get it out in many ways. That would be great.
We'll get you a sample.
Awesome. I'd be all happy. Look what I got. That'd be so cool. Thank you. So tell me about some of the programs you have going on that the community might not know about. You guys take care of everyone, the elderly, the young, the athletic people who want to go out and boat and swim and do all that kind of thing. You cover so many people. And I love that with everything else you guys have going on every single day, all night long, every day of the year, you think to do things like this too, and I think that's amazing.
Well, thank you very much. And we're always trying to reach out and give better service to our communities, to our customers, to make sure that we're engaged with them and we're giving them the service that they want. Awesome. One of the programs specifically is a program called You're Not Alone, and it's a program where our volunteers program will go out and check on elderly people who may need checking on every once in a while. So let's say somebody lives in the Bay Area and they have for instance, a loved one that lives up in the Arnold area and the distance is just too far to come check on them every once in a while. We can register them through our online registration program, and the volunteers will call them. They might stop by. They'll get to know them, and they'll be able to notice, hey, you guys might want to come up and do some weed eating or some fire prevention, or
Right.
they're not getting around like they should. Maybe they give some tips to get some in-home health care. It's just that bridge to have somebody check on them face to face. It's the bridge between having to go to a full-time care home so they can stay in their home longer.
Super important.
And financially, mentally, it's better to keep them in their home as long as you can, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's better for their well-being and their mental status. So when they do go to the home, it's absolute necessity, not because people live out of the area.
Yeah, yeah, that's huge. That's huge. These volunteers that go to see them, first of all, how does someone become a volunteer to do that? And do your volunteers get training from your department or from someone else on what to look for when they show up at someone's home?
Yes, we have a volunteer program. They do everything from office work to serving some civil papers. They'll do
Okay.
vacation house checks. If you go on vacation,
nice.
you can tell them, hey, I'm going to be gone for this amount of time. This is my car in the driveway. Anything else, drive by. If something's out of place, call one of the deputies.
Okay.
So we do those, and we have a program. You can apply online. Go to the website, any browser, type in Calaveras County Sheriff's Office, and go to the volunteer page. And there's an application. There's a selection process, oral interviews, minor background, and they're given marked patrol vehicles. And some of them do substations. They'll do general patrols. They'll help with parades. Recently, we had a significant incident. They helped with roadblocks.
Okay.
And they basically do work to provide work so the deputies can go out and do deputy work and not do as much office work, sit at roadblocks
Yeah.
and free the deputies up. And they're invaluable. We use them frequently to do a lot of work around the office and in the community.
Great,
That
great.
it just amplifies our ability to serve the public.
Yeah. Do they need to be 21 or 18?
I believe they have to be at least 18 years old.
Okay.
A lot of them are retired and they're looking to give back to the community.
Yeah.
Some aren't. I know this Frog Jump, we're going to be using them to help at the fair, lost children. They have a booth out there. They lost and found. They do general patrols out there. They're our eyes and ears, and they're extremely helpful.
That is so great. I was thinking of when you mentioned that this wasn't funny, the incident you guys had recently, but I know that when something big happens, you guys are there all the time. You don't leave to go get dinner and come on back or go through the drive-thru to bring some food. And I heard that a local restaurant or pizza parlor or someplace brought food out to you all, and I thought that was amazing that someone did that at one of these places just to make sure that you guys are fed when you can't leave. And I imagine that something else maybe the volunteers can do is go and pick up things like that, bring you guys waters, or whatever you need. That would be, that's volunteer work that I think just about anyone could do.
It is, and it's as time intensive as you want it to be.
Yeah.
We'll take what you can give. If you want to do a couple hours a week, we can work with that. If you want to do more than that, we can work with that. We don't want for work. There's not a work shortage at our place.
Right.
There is always something to do.
Yeah.
Because if we're not handling calls for service, we're doing other community service and,
Yeah.
and making sure people are taken care of and checked on.
That's amazing. So earlier you mentioned homes, checking on vacations, homes and things, and that sort of got me thinking about the program you have with the security cameras. So some people are worried that if they sign up their home security camera with the sheriff's department, that you guys are able to see what they see through their camera, almost like spying on them. But will you explain how that program works? And what is that called?
So it's the security camera program. It's a
Oh,
registry.
that's a good name for it. That's a good name. I should have thought of that.
It's a registration program where you can log where you are and
Okay.
what vantage point your camera has.
Okay.
So typically, let's say there's a burglary in Lock Antenna, the deputy would have to go home to home, find out if you have a security camera system, where it's pointed, does it record, does it go to a cloud, how do we access it, can we get a copy of that? This allows the deputy to query the system, and they can look up and it'll populate, these people have cameras in this location, and he can go specifically to those few houses.
Okay.
While time is not necessarily the essence during a burglary, if it was a child abduction or a significant crime, or there was a traumatic crime like a robbery, and time is of the essence to get that information out, going house to house is going to take quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
If you can cut down that time and go straight to the house that has the system, we ask you to provide us with a copy. We don't remotely access. We don't, record it with our phones or record it with devices. It's voluntary.
Awesome.
So it's not like we're going to be, sitting at our office and typing in and let's see what Tammy's doing today.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Oh, she's out mowing her lawn. That's not the case at all.
Okay.
It's just a registration location.
And if I signed my cameras up with you and say a car was stolen next door and you guys want our footage, even though I signed the paperwork giving you permission, I can say at that moment if I don't want you to see it for some reason, like,
You can refuse at any time.
okay, like, oh, I was laying outside naked at
Yeah,
the moment. I don't want
right.
you to see that. So
Or I'm the one that stole the car. I
Right.
don't want you to know it was me. So,
yeah. So they still have the option.
They have the option
of-
to opt out. It's 100%
Total control.
consensual. 100% consensual.
Yeah, I love that. I love that everyone should do that. We should do that. Because we have cameras. We haven't done that yet, so we should do that.
Well, now that you know about the program.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome. What else you guys have? You got a list there of some great things.
Boating season's coming.
Uh-huh.
Weather's warming up rather quickly, and this is the time for boating season. It's just a reminder to let everybody know that it's a good idea to check your vessel out before you take it out. That includes making sure your fire extinguisher's adequate and up to date. You have enough life jackets on board. Making sure that the tires are good, the seals on the outdrive are good so you don't take on water.
Okay.
Making sure that you have the boater safety card, throwable devices, and something that's sometimes overlooked is the chains on the trailer to make sure they're not dragging.
Oh.
That could spark and cause a
yeah.
fire.
I hadn't thought of that.
We're rapidly going into fire season. The small brush is drying out quickly,
Yeah,
and it's turning brown very quickly. In the fire season, we're in it.
yeah.
We've had some significant ones in Valley Springs already, a couple in Milton. Luckily, the fire departments have been able to get a handle on it, but it's, by all indicators from CAL FIRE, has the potential to be a bad year.
Oh, that's so scary. Every year by Frog Jump, everything's brown. That's how I gauge it, yeah. It's really bad, it's scary, very scary. So, let's see, if someone needs any of these things or a checklist on what they're gonna need to go boating, who do they call?
So they can call our Marine Safety Division, or they can
Okay.
go to the Department of Boating and Waterways. There's a checklist on there.
Okay,
They can help with that, or they can just type in their web browser, essentials for boating. And
Okay.
they'll cover everything from, like I said, the fire extinguishers to, making sure your alcohol consumption is kept in check. Not that we don't want people to have a good time, but alcohol obviously impairs judgment, and it's just as dangerous to drive a vessel while under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or prescription medication
Okay.
as it is a vehicle.
Okay.
And make sure that you always have, one of the key things is to make sure you always have a lookout on the lake. There's no lanes.
Right.
People aren't paying attention, they're having a good time. So making sure that there's an adequate lookout to making sure that cross traffic, even though you're doing everything right, you
Yeah.
still have to look out for somebody who may be distracted.
right, right. Oh, that's just such a nightmare to me. I think of people playing in the water and a boat flying through and not seeing them. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, a boat prop in the water, spinning really quickly,
Yeah.
it's akin to a blender blade, and
Oh,
it can
God.
cause some serious damage.
A lot of,
We've had some, this last year, we had some significant injuries on the lake, and over the last several years, we've had some major injuries. I think Amador also had a fatality last year. It's just tragic when you go to the lake to recreate and have a good time. Avoidable accidents, specifically not paying attention,
Yeah.
and alcohol consumption. To have something bad happen out of something that's completely avoidable,
right.
just adds to that tragedy.
Oh, for sure. You're out there to have a good time. I don't drink at all, so is it illegal to drink alcohol on a boat?
No, it's not illegal,
Okay.
but there's also the thresholds of drinking too much
Yeah.
on a boat.
Probably mixed with the sun and everything.
The sun,
else,
the
yeah.
waves, you're tired, you're out there all day. I mean, most people I know, they don't, eat a really balanced meal while they're out there. Time can get away from you if you start at 10 in the morning and you drink most of the day, and it's the evening, it stays light late.
Yeah.
Things could progress a little faster than one would if they're not paying attention.
Sure.
And it's just, like I said, it's just not worth it.
Sure. So this year, because we were talking about how the lakes are lower, what does that mean for people who are boating?
So some
Or
of the,
just having fun in the water?
so the hazards that everybody knows about, that, this tree stump comes out about this level, this drop off is here at this level of the lake. We're getting into the drought season, and it's going to drop even further.
Okay.
So some of the routine hazards are going to be out of the water, and unknowns are going to be coming. That's
Okay.
a problem for boaters, where there's no island before. There could be, underwater hazards. So make sure you're going slow around the shoreline. And for swimmers, there's drop-offs that they may not know about. So you could be wading in, knee-high water where you've done that before, but now you're closer to that drop-off, and you could drop off unexpectedly. And if you're not prepared for it, or if you're not a strong swimmer, or especially young children,
Yeah.
they can drop off in a heartbeat. And if you're not watching them, or they don't have a life jacket on or a flotation device, that could be a very bad day.
Oh, how scary. How scary. Would you say most people who get in some sort of trouble, not legal trouble, but physically, is it children or teens or adults?
It's a little bit of a mixture of both.
Okay.
The children are the ones that aren't attended to or don't have flotation devices. The older persons who have trouble in the water, they either misjudge their swimming ability, they misjudge the distance. Sometimes it's hard to judge distance on the water. That could cause a factor. And then alcohol for the
Yeah.
older ones, either knowing the distance and, again, misjudging it because they've been drinking and their judgment is impaired,
Yeah.
and they overestimate their abilities. And we've been talking about lakes for a while, but rivers are also a concern. While we're in a drought this year, there's also strong currents. There's a saying, water doesn't get tired.
Oh.
That water will keep flowing, and if you get yourself in a predicament, the water will not get tired, and you will, and that could put you in a bad way.
That's creepy. Yeah, it's scary. It's so powerful.
It is.
The water, yeah.
And water is a unbelievable force, and it puts, especially the higher elevations with the cold water. The cold water with swimming and the current, if you don't know what you're doing or you get over your head, that could really put you in a panic situation, and that's not good.
No, not at all. You were saying one of the medals that you have above the bar there is for. Do you lead the team that does the?
I'm the dive team leader, yes.
Dive team leader. Okay. And how many guys do you have on that team?
So right now we have seven active dive members on our team. We respond to dive recovery for either persons who've succumbed to underwater events or evidence recovery.
Okay.
We train about 11 times a year, and recently we've picked up we call it an ROV. It's a remote operated vehicle.
Okay.
And it goes underwater, and it's got sonar video, and it's got a tether where it'll go down to 500 feet.
Wow.
So that allows us to broaden our search area, search a greater area more quickly, so
Okay.
we can find whatever we're looking for, whether it be a person or object. It lessens the exposure of the diver, so we can verify what we think we see with the diver, as opposed
Yeah.
to going down and diving and staying down for an extended period of time.
Very cool. How do you guys get the money for items like that? Is that what your fundraising is for, or does our board of supervisors give you that money, or does that come from the state?
That comes from, this specific piece of equipment comes from the state. It came from
Okay.
a grant for the Boating and Waterways Division of State Parks.
Okay.
We applied for that a few years ago, and it was about $125,000 piece
Wow.
of equipment. It's state of the art, and like I said, it reduces our search time greatly,
Yeah.
and it reduces the risk to the diver.
I'm so glad you have the right tools make all the difference.
Yeah. For instance, we had remember the plane went down in Lake Tolek?
I remember hearing that.
Okay, so we used the ROV to go down there. It was about 111, 110 feet down.
Okay.
We don't go typically below 100, so we were able to go down with the ROV, inspect the wreckage, and we're able to give the salvage company a definite starting place, which was a huge benefit.
Yeah, huge. That's incredible. Oh my goodness. I see we only have like 5 minutes
Oh,
left.
geez.
Well, is there anything else that we really, really wanted to bring up that's on your list?
Really wanted to bring up, not specifically, just I touched on it a bit ago with the checking your tire, your boat chains. Fire season's here. We need to remind people to make sure that they have their essentials ready to go, and that when we ask people to evacuate, it's not to inconvenience them, it's because we're trying to save lives. The fire behavior that we've all noticed in the last few years has been more destructive and moving more rapidly than ever before.
Yeah.
Sonoma, I mean, we've lost whole subdivisions, we've lost Paradise, we've lost in a matter of minutes. So when there's a red flag warning or, there's an evacuation, make sure you're ready to go. Medications, dog food, your animals, make sure that's ready.
Good points, yeah.
And go to the shelters, the Red Cross shelters. It's that type of season this year.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love the way the community all comes together,
They do.
but we have to cooperate with each other and do and do what you all tell us. You guys have been there, done that. You know what you're doing, and sometimes we think we know better, but it's what you're trained in.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, you're not, like you said, you're not going to just inconvenience people.
No, it's sometimes it's done out of abundance of caution, but I'd rather have somebody be a little inconvenienced
Yeah.
than to lose a life. It's
Yeah.
just, it's not worth anything that's preventable. We have to do it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So before we go, I wanted to touch on one other thing. The Sheriff's Department is they're in the works of putting together an event that would benefit our hospice of Amador and Calaveras, and it's called the Hike for Hospice. And it was your idea, right, Greg?
It would joint. We worked on it together.
It's amazing. Tell everybody, we have like 2 minutes left.
2 minutes?
As quick as you can.
Okay, the Deputy Sheriff's Association is going to partner with Hospice of Calaveras or Amador, and we're going to do a bucket list hike, memorializing things that somebody wanted to do but couldn't because
Yeah.
cancer took them too early
Yeah.
or prevented that.
Yeah.
So we're going to have, in October, we're going to do a hike for hospice. We're going to have some flyers come out, and we're going to bring awareness to cancer, and we're going to raise money for the local hospice and try to contribute.
Thank you so much. Like I said, you guys, they do so much good work. You guys have the best men and women over there in your department. I've met quite a few of them now, and I tell you what, I just so in awe of everyone. And you all are so respectful and nice, and you deserve respect. And I hope that you feel that from our community.
Well, we feel very fortunate to live in a community that's so supportive of us.
Yeah.
We know that a lot of officers around the nation don't enjoy
Don't get
that,
that.
and we don't take that for granted. We work very hard to gain and keep the trust and respect of our community.
Perfect. Well, you guys sure do. Thank you for being here, and come back, okay?
I will.
I don't care
I
how
will.
little the thing is that you got going on. I mean, there's always stuff to talk about with you people. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Oh, you guys, thank you for joining us, and I'll see you next time on Tammy's Window on Calaveras.